Okay, I think I'm going to get started. So welcome everyone to the Druid Hills High School PTO Parent Education Program. I'm Valerie Bashida, and I'm one of the board members of the PTO. And our topic tonight is IB, AP, and dual enrollment, how to choose. And we have a great panel for you, and I'm going to introduce them in a second. But just one quick programming note, we are recording this. So if you don't want to be on camera for any reason, just know that. It will be used for Druid Hills Devil TV, so you're not going to go national, but just in case you don't want to be on there, I wanted to let you know. So I'm going to introduce our panel. We'll start with the educators and counselors, and we have Ms. Bracewell, who is the IB program coordinator at Druid Hills High School.
Hi, this is Ann Bracewell. Sorry I'm not on camera. I'm in quarantine and nobody wants to see me in quarantine mode.
Oh,
Okay, so.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And then we have Ms. Brown, who is the head counselor for Druid Hills High School.
Hello and welcome everyone.
We have Mr. Denine, who's the executive director of CASIE. That's the Center for the Advancement and Study of International Education.
Hi, everybody. My company provides IB training, so I know a lot about IB, but I'm actually a 25-year public school educator, most of it in Atlanta public schools. And my last job, I was the coordinator for college and career readiness, and I was responsible for all of the programs that give college credit. So AP, IB, dual enrollment, early college.
And we have Dr. Donovan, who is the district coordinator for IB AP for DeKalb County School District.
Good evening, everybody. I actually started my career at Druid Hills High School, so it's kind of my home, and I worked there until 2015, coordinating IB for a lot of that time. And then I spent some time in graduate school and worked in Atlanta public schools, where I had some good exposure to dual enrollment there as well. So I'm happy to be here.
And we have Mr. Henery, U.S. history teacher.
Hey, good evening, all. Yeah, in my 8 years at Druid Hills High School now, I've taught all levels of 11th grade U.S. history, truly.
And we also have Ms. Ross, who is the AP program coordinator for Druid Hills High School.
Good evening. In addition to AP coordinator, I've taught every math class at Druid Hills. This is my 22nd year. I'm also the math department chair, and I am also the IB math teacher.
Okay, and we have a couple parents and students here as well. We have Julia Byrne,
who is still on mute. Hi, I have two children. One was a senior last year and is now a freshman engineering major at University of Michigan. And I have my younger son who is a rising junior. My older son did IB and finished it last year. My younger son is planning, he says, on doing AP.
Oh, blue.
And Trish McHenry and her daughter Lily. Trish, you're on mute.
Hi,
Okay.
I'm Lily, and I'm a senior at Druid Hills High School, and I do IB.
Right, and tell them your other exciting news where you were accepted.
Oh, I was accepted into UGA and Georgia Tech, so.
Very exciting. And we have Helena Olivero and her daughter Abby Fegans.
Hi, we're happy to be here. Abby did the AP program and she's a freshman at UGA. So she had a really good experience at Druid Hills. We're happy to talk about it.
Okay, so a lot of you sending some great questions ahead of time, so thank you very much. So we're going to start with some of those, and then as you have other questions throughout, you can put them in the chat. And please stay on mute while we're doing this, and we're going to dive right in. So we thought that the best thing to do first would be to give an overview of each of the programs, starting with IB or AP and dual enrollment. So whoever wants to go first to talk about one of those, go ahead.
Okay, hi, this is Amber. I can talk about IB. I have taught AP, 11th grade AP language as well. But I taught IB English for about 15 years in Florida before I moved back up here to Druid, to Atlanta, which is my hometown, to work at Druid Hills. I don't want to sound biased, but I am in a sense, because, I've been involved in IB for a lot of years. I'm a big fan. I am. But, there's a balancing act there as well. The IB is a holistic program. You're doing basically all of your coursework in IB. You will take an IB math, world language, English, history. There are also extra requirements for IB. You have to take you have to write an extended essay, which is written over a course of about a year. And you have to you have to go through what's considered creativity, activity, and service, so that you're logging hours in reflections in all three of those strands. You also take a course called Theory of Knowledge. That's kind of the core course of IB. And it's essentially, how do we think and why do we think? And I think it's a wonderful course. I wish every student could take it. The IB was originally created as an international program for families of people, often, diplomats and stuff, people that were moving around a lot. And it had a couple of it had a couple of goals in mind. First, to have a consistent education that you could take with you elsewhere. The other, though, and I think most important, was if you are constantly moving into different cultures, you have to develop this sense of cultural awareness and understanding of the world around you and develop a very strong worldview. And so that's part and parcel of the whole IB curriculum, is to try and impart this kind of worldview and knowledge of, that every culture is not going to be the same. So you have to look at things through these different lenses. It's a very demanding program, though, I can say, because you have those extra tasks that you have to complete in IB. And because you have to take the IB courses, you do not typically end up with as many electives or as much flexibility as you would in AP. It's very, very desirable to colleges. You will see that the University of Georgia, when you do those recommendations, or when we used to before they were putting them in Naviance, it would ask, is this student an IB diploma candidate? And you would check yes or no. But then again, of course, most schools do not have IB. So just because Druid Hills offers IB does not mean that that's the one that you need to take or that you want your child to take. It really is going to depend on your student, your knowledge of that student, how good are their time management skills? How strong are their organizational skills? Because it is demanding. It tends to open a lot of college doors, but so does AP. So I love IB, but at the same time, I don't ever want to paint it as something that it's not, which is very demanding. Just like AP, you can take exams and earn college credit for exam scores. At the end, all of your exam scores will be added up. And if you get over a certain amount of points, you can earn what's called the IB diploma. And that is in addition to your regular high school diploma. But it's nice to have. And depending on the scores on those tests, I've seen students get a year's worth of college credit. I've seen most students typically not have to take freshman composition, probably not one or two. But again, you can earn those with AP exams as well. So I guess that's all I can give you about IB, because I don't want to take up too much time with that.
Okay, thank you. And we'll get into some more specific comparisons of the two in a minute, but why don't we have either Ms. Ross or Mr. Henery give us a little description about the AP program at Druid Hills?
I'll go ahead and talk about AP. AP is similar to IB, where you do have the opportunity to earn college credits, but with AP, you get to decide which courses you want to take. You're not locked into 2 years of a program. You can actually start taking. We offer our first AP course during freshman year, and I believe it's human geography. Yeah, human geography, and then you can progress from there. Again, with IB, as with AP, you can earn college credit. It's not guaranteed that every university will take your AP credit. One example I can think of is, like, I know a student who wanted to be a biology major. The university she went to would not take her AP biology credit because the biology for biology majors was a different level course. So just like IB, you have those instances where sometimes the school will take the credit depending on the score. Typically, most universities are looking at a 4 or 5. Some will take a 3. We offer AP courses in every subject area. We either offer them on campus or they can be offered through Georgia Virtual. If I'm not mistaken, Ms. Brown, I think most of them are offered through, you can also have access to them through Georgia Virtual. And also with AP, you can register to take an exam without having to be in the class. It's called independent study. And you can do the studying on your own and then take the exam and could potentially earn college credit for that as well. Another difference with AP is that the exams do cost. This year, they are $98. The state will pay for one exam for students in a STEM field, science, technology, engineering, or math. And the district this year is paying for one exam in any field for each student. So that's another thing to consider when you're thinking about AP is the cost of each exam.
It's a lot less than college tuition, however, if you get credit for it.
It is. It is a lot less. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. And Ms. Brown, do you want to talk about dual enrollment?
Sure. Excuse me. So dual enrollment is the only program where you're guaranteed college credit if you successfully complete the class. So what it is taking college classes while still being a student at the high school. The state of Georgia funds, they have a list of courses that they approve, so to speak. All of that information can be found on gafutures.org, the list of approved courses. But normally, not normally, but most of our students either go to Georgia State, the perimeter campus or downtown campus, or they would attend Georgia Piedmont Technical Campus. So those are the common schools that students go to for dual enrollment, but we have some students taking college classes at Oglethorpe, at Georgia Tech, just off the top of my head, I think West Georgia. So, I mean, it is possible if that particular college offers a dual enrollment program that your student can take classes there. So pretty much there is a process where the student has to apply to that college's dual enrollment program. Some schools have certain requirements. So Georgia State, for example, they have a GPA requirement and also a test score requirement. They've kind of waived the test score requirement because we're in COVID, and they base their admissions on other things. You know, they would ask for a report card. You know, of course, you have to send your transcript, but GPTC, or Georgia Piedmont Technical College, does not have a GPA requirement. So many of our students without the 3.0 can go to GPTC and still be able to earn college credit. It's free. So, and they have limited though the maximum amount of credits that a student can earn, or they can earn as many college credits, but the amount that the state will pay for is 30 credits. So, but you know, a student can take credits beyond that if they're willing to pay for it. But 30 credits is the maximum that can get paid for. So, you know, just to give an idea of what that looks like. So, you know, of course, you have classes on average are like 3 credits at the college level. So a student can start junior year and take, you know, a few classes. The maximum amount of classes per semester is 5. I don't know why my throat is getting all cloudy, so I'm gonna be excuse me. But so the maximum amount per semester is 5 classes, which would be 15 credits on average. And so if a student were to start junior year, they could take, if they wanted to do it junior year and senior year. So we're looking at, why is my math off right now? So 30 credits. So that would be about 10 classes. And so you kind of have to spread them out if you're starting junior year. But a lot of students will just do senior year now that they've maximized the credits to 30, or had that limit to 30. So they just do a senior year, and you can do you can do all of your classes in dual enrollment, because you can take even requirements for graduation. You can take those classes at the college. There are certain classes that you cannot take that are required for graduation. For example, if a student needs world literature, that is not approved through dual enrollment. But if a student needs their 12th grade English, they don't have to take it at Druid Hills High School. They can take it at the college and get the credit for it. They can take their 4th math at the college. They can take their 4th science at the college. I mean, the college even offers US history, for example. So, you know, it's a conversation to be had with, you know, your student's counselor to see what's best. But it's a really good opportunity to get guaranteed college credit for free.
Okay, thank you very much. I think one thing we had a lot of questions on was, how are the programs perceived from a college admission standpoint? So maybe we could have maybe Dr. Donovan or Mr. Denine talk about that a little bit. And then I'd like to get into how do I know what's best for my child? And I might like to have some of the parents weigh in on that. But why don't we start with, how are they perceived from the college admission standpoint?
Martha, you want to take it? You want me to go?
I'll start, if that's okay.
Yeah.
You can, I'll do part of it. So I think that the general perception of the programs are that they prepare students for college and university level work. That colleges and universities, I don't know of a single college, or I've never encountered a child applying for school who presented a school with a list of AP courses they completed successfully, or an IB program that they were completing successfully, who was told, well, we don't really believe that those programs are preparing you. So from my understanding, you really aren't looking at very gigantic distinctions between how colleges perceive the programs. But what colleges do is, depending on how selective the school is, they are looking for students to show what they can do. And so looking at the students' engagement in rigor is something that colleges are keen to. So sometimes they'll ask questions like, did the student take the most rigorous program available to him or her? And when I was working at Druid Hills, and there was a whole different counseling staff back then, so Miss Brown and I never worked together, but if a student had taken 4 or 5 AP classes, you know, over the course of junior and senior year, we weren't, versus the IB diploma program, we weren't really muddling with ranking one down over the other, right? But if a child had taken 2 AP classes, like one junior year, one senior year, or maybe one a year, we might perceive the IB diploma as a more rigorous engagement. And that was me, this was 5 years ago. So that's just a little bit of the experience that I've had with this.
Yeah, and I would echo everything Martha just said. I mean, there's been grade inflation for 50 years coming out of high schools. The SATs don't predict success in college as well as they used to. And so what universities do is they look at the strength of the high school schedule to make a determination. A couple of years ago, UGA rejected 144 students with 4.0 GPAs because their high school curriculum wasn't rigorous enough. And so there's a real concern in high school and colleges to make sure that kids have taken like Martha said, the most rigorous curriculum available to them. And so course for course, AP and IB are pretty similar. A difference, the way Druid Hills does it though, is that you take all your classes at the IB level, right? And so if you take like 5 or 6 or 7 AP classes, I think those are would be considered equivalent for universities. So it really becomes a question of whether you want more structure or more flexibility. And the other thing that's really critical is that universities, by and large, each one individually sets their own acceptance criteria, not only for AP, but for IB, or for what credits they'll accept from dual enrollment and how they apply them. So unfortunately, and we'll talk about this later a bit, but it really matters where you think you're going to go to college, because you then can do some really creative and let the buyer beware shopping for colleges. And if you're an AP student, for example, find one that gives credit for 3s on the exams, not just 4s and 5s. If you're an IB, find one that gives credit for 5s, not just 6s and 7s. So it's really critical to really keep that in mind as you're looking.
Sorry, I muted myself. One of the other questions we had was, how do I decide what is the best program for my student? And I thought maybe the parents could weigh in, or maybe Lily and Abby, if you want to weigh in on that too.
I could start. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'll just say a few things and I'll let Abby sort of take over. But I would echo everything that the panel have spoken about, and that sort of played out with our experience. Abby decided to do the AP, I think, a lot, mainly for the flexibility and because of her interest in the arts. And she ended up taking 9 AP classes. And I think what helped her, because it went really well with her acceptances for college, was that she really challenged herself, and she took AP art that she was really passionate about, but also took AP calculus and AP statistics as well. So I think that maybe helped her as well. But I'll let you talk about, because I think you had a positive experience with.
Yeah, I really liked that I was able to choose which classes I wanted to be like the more advanced classes. So that like if a student was more advanced in a certain area, they could choose to focus their AP classes in that, if you're really good at math or whatever it is. So I really liked the flexibility it gave me. And yeah, there are a lot of different AP classes that you can take, which is also nice. Like I had a lot of different options. Even when you are taking like almost the max amount, you still have options.
Yeah. And I would just add, like, to be like totally transparent. I mean, I think one of the reasons too that Abby decided to go the AP route is science has been one of her toughest subjects, really challenging. And, she was very interested in the arts and English and history. So she was able to take 9 AP classes, but I think you took AP environmental science.
Yeah, just one AP
in physics, but she didn't have to take the AP bio, AP chemistry, or the IB science classes.
Right.
And then also she ended up taking, I think, 5 AP classes her junior year. And then, you decided that your senior, you're going to sort of dial back. And that really allowed you to focus and do more volunteer work.
And that's the other thing, is that you can choose, like if you did 3 AP classes a semester and you're like, oh, that went really well, I can do more, or no, I need to cut back. You can kind of decide to do that.
So, right. Like it has that built-in flexibility where I think, IB, as strong as a program as it is, I think some students felt like, they kind of were struggling their junior year, but they felt like, they had to kind of press through. Whereas AP, you can kind of dial it up or dial it down depending on, right?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Lily or Julia, why don't you go, and then maybe Lily, if you want to talk a little bit after that.
All right, hi. So I have my son Zachary, like I said, finished last year as a senior at Druid Hills in the IB program and is now an engineering major at University of Michigan. And my younger son is actually also planning on being an engineering major and is thinking about going the AP route. And the really blunt thing I'll say about the whole, when your kid is deciding, when you are working with your kid to decide between AP and IB, the two factors, the first factor that actually was the strongest was, what are their friends going to do? Particularly, no, seriously, like, especially after this year, when everybody's been so isolated, what their friends are going to want to do is going to be a big factor. And, you know, you're going to want to hang out with friends. In Zach's case, most of his friends had decided to do the IB route, and he was willing to go along with that. He wanted to do something challenging, and he was interested in the holistic philosophy of IB and in sort of thinking about how all subjects go together. He was really interested in that idea. I will say it was very challenging for him. And I saw one question filter through is, do you think IB is a good fit for somebody who wants to be an engineering student? And the answer is, I'm not totally sold on it. You know, sorry, Ms. Bracewell, in retrospect, it wasn't a bad fit for Zach, and he certainly got a lot out of it. And the science offerings in the IB program are quite good. I have to give props to Mr. Bornstein, the physics teacher. If your kid is interested in physics, he is a first-class physics teacher. But it's a lot of humanities. It's a lot of language. Foreign language was really tough on him. He stuck it out, but that was almost the deal breaker for IB, was having to take that 5th year of French. It's not his strong suit, and it did drag down his GPA a bit. And it's a lot of writing. And so the upside to a lot of writing is if your kid is reasonably good at it, they will become a stronger writer. They will learn to bang out immense word counts unbelievably fast. They will be writing, their extended essay is in the neighborhood of 4,000 words, and they will be writing internal essays for every subject, including science and math. And those are in the 2,000 to 2,500 word count. And I think it is possibly, you know, my opinion, that it is possibly Zach's physics IA that helped him get off the wait list and into University of Michigan. Because when they put him on the wait list, they asked for a supplemental essay, and he spent a lot of time talking about his physics IA and the experiment that he'd done and how he analyzed all the data and all the rest of it. So I think IB is a very good fit for the right kid. If your child struggles with writing, I would say this is not a situation where that which does not kill them makes them stronger. Don't do that to your kid. If they really are not comfortable writing a lot, IB will be a very, very big struggle. It is also true, you know, to what Helena said, the IB curriculum is, you know, the upside and the downside is that it is a whole curriculum. It makes scheduling a whole lot easier for those of you that have spent, you know, every waking minute for the first 2 weeks of school in and out of the counselor's office trying to get schedules fixed. IB feels really great because, by God, your schedule is not going to get screwed up. There's no chance you know exactly what's going to happen. But it does limit some of your offerings for electives, which is not to say you can't take electives. And one parent on the chat had asked about AP classes. Zach took, junior year, he took AP, AB calculus, and he also took AP stats. And then there's that host of AP classes that freshmen and sophomores take. So you can do other classes, but what ends up happening for your electives is that you are limited to what electives fit in those open periods. Because the IB classes are sort of slotted very carefully, what ends up happening is you can take an elective that's available first period because that's the open period. And if what you want is not offered for first period, too bad, so sad. With regards to how colleges review them, every college that Zach applied to was willing to take both AP and IB credit. Most of them wanted to, I don't remember your name, sir. Most of them wanted 4s or 5s, particularly in the field that they were applying in. So in this case, since Zach was applying for engineering, they weren't going to take credit unless he got as an AP, it had to be like 6s or 7s for IB, but if it were AP credit, they were only going to take 4s and 5s. And for things like calculus, it had to be a 5 on the BC Calc exam, or you were taking freshman calculus over again. Like, that's just the way it is. So, you know, it's not, we didn't see any colleges that weren't willing to look at all the grades, but Zach wanted to shoot high. He wanted to apply to competitive colleges, and they were only willing to take top scores. I think that's it for me.
I just would say that I think that Lily and I struggled a little bit about which route she would go. And when Lily, when she decided to do IB, I don't know if she was completely sold on the idea when she took it, but I do think that she has enjoyed it, and she's very self-directed, and it has worked for her, and I'll let her talk for herself.
Hi. So I would definitely agree with the stuff the other parents have been saying about how IB really limits what classes you can take. It's really set in stone, the classes that you are going to take. But I will say that in IB, there's a lot of freedom within the curriculum that that isn't really found in a lot of other classes, I don't think, because the teachers can kind of choose, like for history, like right now we're focusing on like fascist states and stuff like that, and we're learning a lot of stuff that I don't think would have been offered or taught in a lot of AP courses or a lot of general courses. So it's definitely, so it does limit what classes you can take, but it gives you a lot within those classes, and you have a lot of freedom in those classes to kind of choose what you want to write about, what you want to read about, what you want to study about. And sorry, someone's asking me a question. I did not focus on music. I am not someone who does music that much, so I did not try to fit in a music elective. I'm not sure if you could or couldn't. This year, I probably could if I wanted to, because I have a free first period. Well, I work based learning, but I could. Yes, I do go to Druid Hills High School.
I'll speak on that, Lily. In terms of the scheduling part of the IB program, your junior year, you have no flexibility outside of the IB curriculum to take any other class during the school day. Of course, you are open to, take any class beyond the school day. The IB curriculum, though, it keeps you busy. That I don't know if you would want to do that. So junior year, it's a no. You cannot take another elective during junior year in the IB program. It will not fit in the schedule. However, senior year, with the kind of revised IB curriculum and how it's set, if you are not doing higher level math, you do have room for one elective senior year. And so depending on, just like Julia said, Julia, that was perfect. That was perfect. You just kind of knocked it out the box right there. But, you will have room for one elective, but it depends on what's offered that particular period that you have free. So it's really, really difficult to say, yes, you can fit music into your schedule in the IB program, because the answer right now is no for junior year, possibly for senior year. That's it.
I wanted to sort of piggyback on what was said, and I think I agree. Julia made a lot of good points. And I just wanted to add, Abby, she also got off the wait list at Michigan for the arts program, which is also highly competitive. I think they only accept a little bit, like 100 students. I know she doesn't want me to talk about this, but I know parents want to hear this because you want to know, the AP and IB, paths. And I just think it's good to hear that there's other ways, because if I'm being honest, I really felt sometimes, maybe it was from other parents, I don't know, that there is this perception that if you want to get accepted into a really competitive school, you have to do IB. And that was not our experience. Now, to what other people said, you have to, if you're going to go the AP route, it's not enough just to do 1 or 2 AP classes. You have to have a pretty rigorous schedule. But for Abby to, her passion is art, and for other people whose kids it's music. And Abby, one of her closest friends, loves art and really wanted to do yearbook and ended up going the AP route and has almost a full ride to Carnegie Mellon. So, and it's not just I think Abby would back me up on this. It's not just about getting accepted to the college. Her whole experience in high school, I think it was a really good fit. And I know there's kids who love and thrive in IB, but that wasn't Abby. And so I just really want to impress on parents to like listen to your kids. And actually, Abby, you know, you can speak to
Yeah.
what I said.
Yeah. And I had some friends who initially started doing IB with like almost the pure intent of just like getting into a good school. Like that's almost the entire reason that they did it. And I think for those people, it didn't necessarily work out the best. If you really aren't interested in the IB program, the classes, it's just not gonna
Sustainable.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, and it will just probably make your experience in high school not very enjoyable. And so, yeah, that's the thing I would just emphasize is like, make sure if you are going to do IB, make sure you're doing it like for the right reasons, because if you are like a really strong student in AP, you can still get into a lot of competitive schools.
Can I add one little bit with regards to IP versus AB? AP versus IB in colleges. It's funny that you say that, Abby, because I'll tell you, like a good half of Zach's friend group right now are all Stamps kids at UMich because they're all up on the North Campus. With regards to AP versus IB up there, you know, I feel like, first of all, Zach grew up thinking he was going to go to Georgia Tech, right? Like every kid thinks he's going to go to Georgia Tech. And he got waitlisted at Georgia Tech too. And when Michigan came through, he was thrilled because deep down, that was his first choice. He wanted to go somewhere where there was snow. But in his friend group, so his friend group is pretty evenly split between engineering majors, music majors, and art majors, because those are the three colleges that are on his end of campus. And he has run into two other kids who did IB. So it's possibly a little regional. And I don't say that to discourage IB, because I think, you know, it's sort of equally accepted. Certainly Michigan was willing to take all the credits, as was everywhere else. And I will say, I know I spent a lot of time bashing the writing requirement, and was not actually my intent. It's a lot of writing. I will say that experience, while certainly not easy for Zach, was really good, because I'll tell you, by the time he got to his physics IA, which was after writing the extended essay, and I think he'd done all of his other IAs at that point, the physics and the math ones were the last ones that came squeaking in senior year, he was able to bang out a 2,500, I think it was, no, he clocked it at 2,300 words because I asked him about it today, of a high-end physics experiment. He went and blew up butane and Coca-Cola bottle rockets and tracked them and used software and wrote up the whole experiment, and it was seamless for him, which is going to be a very great experience for him in college. He's not going to be, say, like I was when presented with that level of research paper, kind of went, oh crap, now what do? I don't know how to do this. He already knows how to do it. So there is benefits to both. But like I said before, I think your kid's going to be driven by what his friends are doing, his or her friends. And I think that's not an invalid reason to choose a program.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Julia. I am from Michigan, and I did graduate from the University of Michigan. So I do believe it is a regional thing in the sense that, I mean, AP versus IB, when we're talking about AP versus IB, it's more of what kind of experience you would like to have in high school. You know, that's the big thing of it all. I'm reading in the comments and someone mentioned that AP is teaching to the test. I mean, there is the AP exam, and the AP classes are standardized. And, colleges know that they are standardized, and they know what that student did in that particular AP class, because that is what the curriculum is. And so with IB, it is more, you do get a well-rounded kind of, because it's more conceptual, and you're writing papers, and you're kind of digging into the meat of how you think and how, it's different learning. It's a different type of learning. So both of them are great in their own right. It all depends on what your experience, what you want your experience to be. And so just like what Abby was saying is that, you know, she was artistic, and unfortunately that artistic need that she has couldn't be met in the IB program because it is, you know, it's strict. It's a program and you have to take certain classes, but that is the type of high school experience that she wanted, and she still came out great. You know, so it's not about, you know, I want to get to go to this particular college, so I must do this particular program. You know, you just have to know, I mean, that's your goal. And you must know that you can't just take 2 AP classes and think you're going to get into UGA or get into University of Michigan or a competitive school, especially if your high school offers upwards of 13 to 15 AP classes. You can't just take 2 and expect to, you know, get into a competitive college. So, but if you're taking 10 AP classes, your chance of getting into a competitive college is pretty much, you know, on the same level as someone in the IB program, you know. So it's all about what you would like for your high school experience to be. And that's really important. So just like, you know, the parents are saying, listen to your child, you know, I urge you to listen to your child, because otherwise, you know, they would be in a particular program and be unhappy. And that's not the goal, you know, just to get into a competitive college. So just make sure that you guys are really, I mean, I'm glad that you're here so you can hear, you know, the differences between the two to make an informed decision. I do want to speak on dual enrollment briefly because someone asked about that. And so I mentioned in the chat with dual enrollment classes, they are college classes, and those classes are not standardized in the sense that you know exactly what the professor is teaching. You know that you're taking a particular subject area at the college, but that particular professor creates the curriculum for that particular class. So I don't know. I cannot say that I'm 100% sure how college admissions officers view dual enrollment classes versus AP. But what I can say is that, you know, because AP has a standardized curriculum, the college admissions officers, they know exactly what that student covered for those AP classes, because that is a set curriculum for that particular class. Whereas if a student took a class in college at in the dual enrollment program, you know, whatever they learned was based on what the professor wanted to expose them to and teach them. So that, you know, could be, I don't know. So one thing that I do tell a lot of my students is if there's a question as to whether or not your ability to get accepted into a particular college, you just call the admissions office. Just give them a call, talk to someone. It's anonymous. They don't have your application sitting right in front of them. So if you have a question, you know, for a particular call the admissions office. Say, hey, this is what I'm really trying to decide between, and they'll give you an honest answer. It's not a secret. It's not, you know, taboo. It's not, you know, it's not. They want you to apply to their schools for bragging rights. But then also they want you to come to their schools, especially if you are a great student and you're going to make a difference on their college campus. So absolutely call their admissions office and get a really honest answer, and they'll tell you.
Ms. Brown, one of the
Awesome.
questions we
Sorry.
also had was about whether is there any benefit to pursuing IB or AP if you're also going to do dual enrollment? I thought that might be a good one to address.
So what I will say, again, the IB program is a set program where you have to take certain, you're just like Julia said perfectly, your schedule is set. You know, you don't have to choose anything other than between 3 IB electives, 3 IB sciences, and 2 maths. Your schedule is set. So with that being said, if a student wants to do dual enrollment and they're in the IB program, it won't work inside of their schedule. However, they can take college classes beyond the day is what we call them, meaning their classes are on Saturdays or in the evening, or they're taking online classes. But you also have to keep in mind that you're also working on those extended essays and all of that stuff that comes into the IB program. And you have to be smart about it because you can burn out easily. You don't want to burn out in high school. You know, you have the rest of your life to burn out. So, you know, so you have to keep that in mind while you're deciding to take some dual enrollment classes while you are in the IB program. Of course, you can take some dual enrollment classes in the summer. However, you're still working on that essay. You start in junior year. So you're going to be doing stuff in the summer too to go towards that. For students in the AP program, well, it's not a program. You just decide to take AP classes, and the, you know, just like Helena was saying, you know, you can scale it up or you can scale it down, you know, and so it's very, very flexible where you can take dual enrollment classes and AP classes simultaneously. So, and it will fit in your schedule because you don't have to take certain AP classes. You know, you can say, I want to take this AP class, you know, this semester, and then I'll take a couple dual enrollment here, you know, so you can kind of mix match and all that other good stuff. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Also, just real quick, I'm gonna hop in if you don't mind. We're really lucky to have all these options, first of all, which is really cool. One of the things is, and we had a lot of good input also, is definitely know the student and know your child, and definitely see how your child feels about just a general workload. Because as someone who's taught, like I mentioned, all levels, it is quite different. One of the key things too is also kind of like that 10th grade year, Ms. Brown, and with taking the 2 AP courses probably for the first time, with taking AP Econ and AP World History, if you could kind of go into that, because that's kind of like a gateway to give you an idea of, you know, a small inkling of the workload possibly. But definitely we've heard a lot, especially when it comes to with AP, you do have that flexibility to go outside and take your dual enrollment courses. You can take your art courses. And the big thing is, when we look at all of this, we have to realize, you know, students are still in high school. Even though it's college level courses, we're still in high school. Like I remember like Abby's group, like when we had a field trip and we went to like Atlanta History Center, and they were all over like social media because they were in the farm area, and you know, it's still that kind of joy. And we definitely don't want to do too much to take it away once you know your student. We got to realize also, like, AP courses run all year. So we have that developmental level when it comes to, like, for instance, I'm teaching AP US history. There's the developmental level in our writing. Like, I think a lot of times with IB, we're expecting you to come in and say, oh, well, you can knock out that couple 1,000-word essay, right? But with AP, there's that developmental aspect where we're building on skills as the year goes on, because it's very specific towards the skills that College Board expects us to cover. But definitely, you know, we have a lot of awesome options here.
And that's the advantage of AP over dual enrollment slightly, is that you get the college curriculum taught by a high school teacher, where in college you have deadlines. You don't meet that deadline, you are locked out. There is no extension. I'm dealing personally with the fact that Georgia State and Druid Hills have 2 separate spring breaks, and you know, you essentially won't get a spring break if you're doing dual enrollment. Your professor's not going to see that, you know, oh, you're still in high school. With the AP program, our teachers have been trained to take this college level curriculum and teach it to high school students. And when you think about a 9th grader taking AP, and where 9th grade mentality is, you know, if you say fart, it giggles everywhere, but you're trying to teach them a college level course. teachers are trained and prepared for that. And like Mr. Henry said, most of our classes are year round. We have about 3 or 4 that are semester based, but they're paced to a point where our students are prepared. They feel comfortable in taking these courses, and they feel like they can talk to the teachers, because for most of them, they've had these teachers before. So they feel very comfortable. Whereas when you go into a college classroom, you know, you could be one of 80 and your professor not know who you are. So that's something else to consider when you're thinking about which route to take.
We've had a couple questions about deadlines of when you have to decide which program you're going to take and when is it too late. So could maybe someone speak to that a little bit? Because we've had a couple questions on that.
I can speak to that. Ms. Brown should answer to when the deadlines are for selecting classes that are offered within the school. The IB program is considered a school choice program in our district, and students must apply by the school choice deadline and submit a written application for IB. So the deadline for the rising junior class was technically last week. If you're younger, if you're a rising sophomore, rising ninth grader, then you would put in your application next year. And then Ms. Bracewell, well, there's a school choice website with details about how that all works.
I would also like to say, in terms of that, though there's a date of a deadline, the decision to do IB actually comes prior to starting high school, because there are certain courses that you have to have completed before beginning the program junior year. So if you're on the fence about starting the IB program and you're a 9th or 10th grader, it's definitely beneficial to take those classes as if you are going to begin the IB program. That way, if you do decide you will, you can have all of we call them prerequisites, because you have to have the 3rd level of your language complete. Whereas on average, when a student comes in, they will do their 1st level 9th grade year, and then their 2nd level 10th grade year. But then if you decide you want to do IB, you're kind of missing a class at that point, and then you have to maybe take it in summer school, because that has to be done before you can begin junior year. So that is, if you're on the fence, definitely prepare yourself as if. I mean, it's not necessary to take. So for example, in the 9th grade, they can take their first AP class. It's an AP elective, it's AP Human Geography. That is not a requirement for the IB program. So you don't have to, go that route. We do recommend to, get into some accelerated classes so that you can start to feel the rigor, but it's not a requirement. The requirement to begin junior year at this point, we, of course, required to finish the 3rd level of your language. Highly recommend to take advanced algebra before junior year, because it is a graduation requirement, and advanced algebra is not offered in the IB program. So it's important because you're doing 2 things. You're meeting graduation requirements for the state of Georgia, and then you're also meeting requirements for the IB program. So you're doing both. But we recommend that you do advanced algebra before starting junior year IB. And that's another reason why, if you're on the fence, that you take care of that, because on average, students come in, they take coordinate algebra 9th grade year, 10th grade year, they take geometry. But if you decide that you want to do IB, you're now missing that advanced algebra piece. So it's important to know or have an idea, not know, but have an idea, like, hey, I'm considering it, so let me go ahead and take this class just in case. Also, economics is another one that we recommend, getting out the way before starting the IB program, because that is another class that is a requirement for graduation, but it is not offered in the IB program. Typically, seniors take economics, but if you're in the IB program, it's not built into the program, but you have to take the class. So if you don't want to take any summer school classes and you're kind of, thinking about doing IB, then those would be the 3 classes that I suggest that you try to fit into your 9th and 10th grade year if you're still on the fence. There is no application for AP. There are no requirements for AP. You just, tell your counselor you're interested in taking an AP class or two. And that's pretty much how AP works. You can, and we don't check your GPA. We don't do any of that. If you want to take an AP class, take an AP class.
There was one point of maybe process about, do you have to reapply for, if you apply for it in your freshman year, then do you have to reapply for it right as you're a rising junior for IB, that is?
No.
No, you do not have to reapply.
Okay.
You just have to keep the GPA minimum and get those classes that you need to be ready for IB.
Okay. And is there any way to see what AP courses are offered? We've had a couple questions about that, because I know we have a lot, so.
I can tell you. I don't have a way to display. I know which most of them are. Like I said, we have students enrolled to take exams that aren't enrolled in the classes. But in math, we have AP Calculus, AB, and AP Statistics. In science, we have physics, chemistry, and we have offered biology in the past and environmental science. In history, we have world history, US history, economics, human geography, psychology. It's Brown, I'm missing one.
Government.
AP government. And in English, we have literature and composition and language and composition, which are 11th and 12th grade classes.
Okay. And we've had a couple questions, and I don't know if anyone can answer this or not, but about dual enrollment and how much do colleges accept that credit? Do we know?
So there is a list that was available. Last time I checked, it wasn't there. The link didn't work, but there's a list where they tell exactly which schools are accepted in the in the Georgia university system. Now that's just specifically for the Georgia university system. However, if you have a question about particular classes, again, call the college of your focus. So if there's a college that you're applying to or your first choice and you have a question as to whether or not that particular credit will transfer, actually a lot of the colleges will have some verbiage on their website, but you can simply call too, say, hey, I'm gonna be applying to your college, but I'm thinking of taking this class in dual enrollment. Will you accept the credits? And they'll tell you. But there was a list, but it was just for the Georgia system. So if you're going out of state, I can't help you with that one, but there was a list. I'll look for it again.
Okay. So we're getting up on about 8 o'clock, and I had promised people we would keep this to an hour. Some people can probably stay a little bit longer. Some may have to leave. I know Ms. Brown has to leave. So if anyone has to leave, that's fine. If you can stay, we can go a little over, but I did want to at least take this time to thank everyone who has come and participated, and for all the great questions, and for all of you answering the questions, because I know you've been doing that in the chat. And so if anyone wants to stick around for a little bit longer, I'm trying to weave through the questions we have here. I think we got most of them answered that came in ahead of time, but I've been trying to go through some of these. So it's up to you all, and stay if you'd like. And I just also want to say that the Druid Hills PTO is looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in helping with the work we do, and this is just one of many things they do, so we're looking for volunteers. So please, if you're interested, shoot us an email. If you have ideas for other programs, anything, please, we're here to help with parents and teachers. So let us know what we can do, okay? And thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. Okay, I'm just trying to go through these questions here. And if any of our panelists, if you have any other things you'd like to say while I'm kind of weeding through these questions to see if there's anything.
And that's dangerous to give us the option to just talk. That's really not a good idea.
I don't know, there was one thing I was thinking for those people who are still here is that one of the things that I think is so dynamic about the options that's pretty special about Druid Hills is that it really gives families the opportunity to think hard about what the ninth and 10th grader really, what they want and what they can do academically. And that's pretty special if you take it like that, right? You can also take it like you got to do the best work you can do in high school, or you're not going to be worth anything when you get older. But and that's tough. But as an exploration of the human being who's just growing and becoming who they are, it can be a wonderful process. Like, I encourage people to make it a wonderful process of getting to know their child.
And just talking about the IB program, there's some stuff. One thing is that it is kind of separated from the rest of the school. So we move on a different bell schedule. And so that's kind of a little different. I think that's something a lot of people aren't really anticipating when they first hear about it. I don't really know, but so we move on a different bell schedule, and like the kids that you start having classes with junior year, like that, those are going to be the people you're going to see for the rest of junior year and the rest of senior year. And one of the things that's kind of unfortunate about it is it's not like we have Druid Hills High School is very diverse, but the IB program is not as diverse as Druid Hills is as a whole. So in some ways, and it should be, so I think that's kind of one of the things that's not so good about the program. But there's a lot that it offers, and it's really great. And I've had a lot of fun there and a lot of stuff I've learned. So.
Well, I think what I'm going to do for the parents who are still here, if you have a question and want to go off mute and just ask it at this point, we've got a lot in the chat, but a lot of them we've answered and some of them are repetitive. So if you just want to go ahead.
I have a question.
Sure.
My name is Amanda. I have a 10th grade student there. And he's come into Druid Hills with a math credit already. So right now he's in a pre-cal accelerated class. I'm not interested in the IB. He doesn't like to write. I'm not even going to bother. He likes music, so I'm not even going to do that because I don't want to remove that from his schedule. Mm-hmm. But I just need a straight up answer. Like, is AP courses as well as doing dual enrollment going to be something that'll possibly, quote unquote, break him in some way, shape, or form? Or is it something that I should do so this way when he's done with dual enrollment and goes to college and those things, he has more options?
Well, thinking about AP and dual enrollment, it really depends on his motivational level and how organized he is. When you think about, like I said, with AP, you've got actual high school teachers who understand the high school workload. And, like our AP calculus is, we've got a year-long section and a semester section. If you are focused and driven and can take it in the semester, you're fine. And then if you could do the work at a semester, and if you are like kind of self-motivated, then dual enrollment will be fine. But if you're one of those students who kind of needs a push, a little nudge to kind of get started, then AP might be the better route. Like I said, at the college level, the professors are like, it is or it isn't. With high school, we have that flexibility to work with our students and adjust deadlines and make adjustments based on the individual needs of the student. So it really, at this point, this is where students start thinking about what they want to do, what they want to major in, and how much of a workload do they want to take on. I know as a high school student, I would have never taken AP because I was extremely unorganized and I was just the bare minimum. Okay, I'm gonna do enough to get by. Looking back now, I probably could have done it, but just knowing my mindset, like, oh, I'm just gonna do enough and I don't have to study. I'll get a B, it'll be okay. AP would not have been for me. Neither would dual enrollment, because I was just like, last minute procrastinator, that type of person. With any of these programs, you really need to be focused. You really need to be highly motivated. It just depends on how much they're willing to handle, how much of a load they're willing to handle. And again, with AP and dual enrollment, you get to adjust your load. Like, I don't want to take one AP class. I only want to do one dual enrollment. with IB, you are set on 2 years of 8 credits each, and there is no room for flexibility to kind of shift that around.
Yeah, I wouldn't do AB Plus. I know he's not gonna handle it. It's just harder for me to really understand and digest all of this. I'm not from Georgia, so this is all new to me. And sometimes it sounds like a different language because I'm trying to absorb it and I'm trying to make sure that I make the right decision for him. He is really motivated. Sometimes I have to like bring him down because sometimes if he gets a grade that he doesn't like, I'm really like, okay, it's fine, it's okay. And he gets like 90s and above. He's great, but I don't want to give the anxiety, a push.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always scared. I know he's
Right.
capable because he is, but listening to this meeting, and it was good information, I just feel like I need another crash course one-on-one with the information again.
Yeah, I understand. One thing I would definitely look into is since he's a junior, he'll be a junior next year. He's got room. I would start with one AP class. I would definitely at least start with an AP class that he's interested in. You say he's taking the accelerated pre-cal this semester.
Right, math, he's good at math. Maybe math, I think, since he's really good at it.
Okay, start with AP Calc or start with AP Stat, and let him get a feel, because even in the AP Math classes, they're still writing. Like there's writing in those classes as well. So let him get a feel of how an AP class runs. And if he's like, okay, this is simple, I can kind of handle this. This wasn't that bad. Then, for second semester start, I think Ms. Brown may have left, but like mid-semester is when you start making your scheduling decisions. He can look into dual enrollment for the next year if he feels like AP was a breeze. So I wouldn't just throw it all out there at one time. I would do like a gradual introduction.
And we can't do anything about that right now, right? It would be everything for next year, right?
Right. Well, scheduling we'll be starting scheduling pretty soon.
Okay.
So look into your AP options then. If he's good at math, he may also like AP Physics. That may be a class that he might be interested in as well. Like we've got that and chemistry. So, just to get some exposure to it.
Right.
And then again, like I say, if he's good with that, it's like, okay, what else you got? This was a breeze. Give me something harder. Then look into dual enrollment.
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you.
Also, Amanda, find out if he took a social studies course last semester or this semester, because that is within the social studies courses that they did their counseling visit. So they may have already done the schedule.
I think
so
he did.
Mr.
Ingram is the one who recommended that he take a AP class, and Giovanni declined. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, but Mr. Ingram was the one who recommended AP. So he did do his, I guess what you said, pre-scheduling and what have you.
Pre-scheduling was done out of social studies classes. So
I would have to do it again.
Just probably check with the counselor and they will be able to update it. But definitely, if there's already a recommendation coming through, I would say thumbs up, let's do it.
Well, hopefully Mr. Ingram didn't throw that in the garbage.
I have a question. Hi, my name is Crystal. Janiyah, my student is Janiyah White. She is a 10th grader. She's into art. And so we've been kind of trying to figure out how to go about the dual enrollment process. She's already taking AP World History right now. But she wants to go to SCAD. So my question was, since SCAD's not on the list that Druid Hills has up on the counseling website, but they have a dual enrollment program for Georgia students, should she just take the AP courses to apply to Georgia Tech and then do their courses on the side? Or should she just apply to that one? Like, how would that work for her? And I'm sorry, it's actually AP Environmental she's in.
So, I would just, I was talking earlier about my daughter, Abby, who took the AP art classes, but she also took several other art classes at Druid Hills. And I cannot speak more highly about the quality of the visual arts program and the teaching. She took drawing, she took painting, she took design, she took the AP art class. And when she went to, this of course was before the pandemic, when she went to a portfolio day, and there are representatives from Pratt and SCAD, I don't think there was SCAD, but Pratt and Michigan, and leading, art programs throughout the country. They were extremely impressed with the level of development and maturity in her work. So I would just recommend, there's like other people have said, there's a lot of different programs and classes to take advantage of at Druid Hills. And I would put the art program high on that list. And also, some of the math and the science. There's yearbook, there's a newspaper. So there's lots of opportunities, but I just think it's top notch art classes that your daughter could take at Druid Hills.
Okay, thank you. So would she still apply through Druid, not through Druid Hills, through the dual enrollment outside of that list?
So my daughter didn't do the dual enrollment. She took all of her art classes at Druid Hills. So she took visual arts her freshman year, and then sophomore year, she took a painting class and then took a drawing class. And then her junior year, she took AP. It's an AP art design class. And I think it's one period every day, all year long. So it's a pretty intense program. But in that AP art class, you put together a portfolio to present to colleges. So she was able, throughout that year of AP art, she was able to put together and have a portfolio ready to go to show to colleges like SCAD and Pratt and Michigan and so forth.
Okay, all right, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy, like if anyone has questions for me, specifically about like Abby's experience, either with the art program or anything else, I don't know, I can put my contact information in the chat, but feel free to follow up with me.
That'll be great. Thank you.
And that reminds me, we had a parent who could not make it tonight, who her children did dual enrollment, and she had offered to answer questions if anybody had any about that. So if anyone wants that, I can put that in the chat as well. I think maybe you have time for one more question, if anybody wants to get one in. No? Okay. Okay, well then, if no one has any other questions, then again, thank you all very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for participating. And I hope this was helpful. And if you would like any more, like if there's more questions you have, or think we might need to do smaller groups, we were talking about that earlier, if we need smaller groups on each individual one, let us know. We can, do some smaller groups or whatever. Just give us a shot and we'll see what we can do, okay? Okay.
Thank you.
And I want to say a thank you to Odette too, because she always does such a great job promoting everything and helping. So she's the force behind everything here. So thank you very much, Odette.
Welcome.
Valerie, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
And this is not about this. I have some information about AP exams that I need to get out. Who can I send that to?
I would send that to Odette, right?
Okay.
Yep. Info at DHHSPTO.org.
Okay, that's right. I sent you the PSAT information.
Yeah,
this is about
I can blast
payment.
it out however often and whoever you want it to get to.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Can I
will
ask
send that tomorrow.
a quick question to Ms. Ross? A quick question,
Yeah.
since I forgot you. Actually, I was just thinking about this. Since you're the AP coordinator, this is for if there's any parents that are still online whose kids are taking AP World History and AP Econ. Caleb told me that the AP World History and the AP Econ tests are back to back this year with no break, like 8 to 12, 12 to 4.
That always happens. That happens. That was the case last year as well.
Okay, so case last year. So is there any possibility that y'all can like accidentally, oh gosh, the room is still busy, everybody go take a bathroom break real quick, eat fast, or like, or really they can't eat for 8 hours? Like how bad is this?
We are going to have to work that out. We are still trying to make a decision if this is going to be paper and pencil testing, digital testing.
Right.
We're right now just in a big blob. Usually there is enough time because sometimes there are kids who are not taking both exams, and there's like a little, we have to, reset the room. The kids get a break and do get back in. So we'll have to hammer that one out as well.
That's fine. I totally get it. Because
Yeah.
I had assumed they would be online. I was like, oh, that's great, honey. I'll just feed you snacks in the office. But
Yeah, we haven't made the decision, and you know there's so much up in the air, but we've got to make it soon, so we'll be coming soon.
okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Really quick before we log off, Ms. Patterson had asked a question about math credits. I don't know if you saw that, Ms. Ross, in the chat.
I did not.
It's about the advanced algebra requirements.
Oh, okay. Ms. Patterson, are you still on here?
Yep, she is.
Okay.
Hi.
So I don't know how that happened because advanced algebra is a state requirement. In the past, we were granted an exemption to allow our students to take not have to have the advanced algebra credit as long as they were taking a higher level math course like the accelerated pre-cal or AP or IB course. But now we've lost that exemption, and so now every student does need the advanced algebra as a graduation requirement. So if they're in pre-calculus right now, it's okay, but the advanced algebra credit has to be. Is Ms. Bracewell on here? Because we were talking about that the other day. We may have to talk to the counselors about that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that advanced algebra credit is a requirement for graduation through the state.
Miss Ross and I did have a long talk about that the other day, and yeah, it's set in stone.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
It's about AP testing. I heard that it is optional whether you can take the AP test or not, but I want to know what the benefit is in taking it.
Taking the test is what earns you college, the potential to get college credit. Not taking the test, you won't have the option to get college credit.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, I got a question.
Go ahead, Jameson.
Well, will the AP test be in person or virtual?
We haven't made a decision yet. We've got to explore all of our avenues.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure because COVID's here, and
I know.
don't want to
Yeah,
get confused.
we'll make an announcement once we know for sure.
Okay.
So my mom stepped away. She had to go to the restroom, but would it be smarter for me to go ahead and talk to Miss Wesley about changing my schedule now than having to take advanced algebra in my senior year?
How many weeks are we into the semester? You're a junior, Christina?
Yes, ma'am.
Which?
Well, this is Mikkel, but yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, okay. I'm sorry, Miss Patterson. Did you take algebra? Do you remember which algebra course you took?
I took not advanced algebra, accelerated algebra or was it gifted? It was with Miss Roberson though.
It was in Miss Roberson. Okay. I was trying to think if you were in that group of students. Give me 30 seconds. I'm gonna try to look this up and see if I can find it because you may already have an advanced algebra credit because we had a group of students who came in who had algebra / geometry A. And so your geometry would have been geometry B / advanced algebra. So give me like just 2 minutes to look that up and then I can tell you, I can give you a decision.
Thank you.
Okay, well, while she's looking that up, does anyone else have any questions or want to take advantage of any of our people here?
I have no more questions.
Well, maybe we can try and answer the existential question of when this pandemic will ever end. And we can see each other in person, although I do wonder if it's easier for people to do it this way. I mean, what do you think? Is it, as much as I would love to see you all in person, it seems like we got a really great turnout for this, probably because it's a lot easier, right?
Mm-hmm. I personally go to a lot more of these kinds of meetings than I used to.
Yeah.
But I definitely miss the socializing that's, not about planning high school futures.
Yeah.
Like, and all the other, and my own child's, school future and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I like these kinds of meetings like this. I do.
That's a controversial question.
Yeah, I was thinking we might continue it even when we can go back and see each other. Maybe we still continue doing this kind of thing just because it's the more people you can reach, the more helpful it is, right?
It's kind of like doing a live stream of a webinar, like
Yeah.
you can have an in-person meeting, and then people who choose to be there who are far and wide can come online, or who can't travel.
Do we have that technology at Druid Hills High that we could do live streaming, I wonder? I know they do at the district.
You probably have to rig it.
Yeah. We just ask any teenager, they could probably
It's like
figure
a
it out.
Zoom. You just need a laptop and a Zoom account,
Yeah.
and then a couple of HDMI cords probably that lead to a big screen.
Well, that's something we can think about in the future. I can bring it up with the PTO. We can buy the equipment we need to do it. Probably wouldn't be that bad.
Okay, I could not get into my website, and I don't have my notebook with my credentials written down for me to get in. So
I could actually look it up and email you if you want. I would just need to know the student's name, but we don't have to keep everybody. for
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
If you can type your child's name in the chat, I can honestly get this to Miss Ross in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I left my notebook with all my fancy credentials at school, and I don't remember anything.
Okay. Well, Christina, do they have your contact info so they can let you know?
So my mom stepped away. I'm sorry. This is
Oh,
Mikkel.
Christina, you know what it's actually just a matter of you looking in Infinite Campus to see which one you took. I'm thinking you might be in that group of students who may have had the advanced algebra. Wait, what middle school did you go to?
Druid Hills Middle School.
Okay, no, so you don't have that because that's when it switched. So I would email Miss Wesley to see if it's too late to get switched into advanced algebra. Just so you won't have to take it your senior year. You are in that group that caught up in the mix, and they told us you had to take advanced algebra. So I'm pretty sure yours is the one that's just the accelerated geometry and not the geometry / advanced algebra B.
Okay, and there's another girl in my class who also only had algebra, geometry, and did not have advanced algebra. Should I go ahead and let her know?
Yeah, yeah. Just so you won't be sitting there as seniors in advanced algebra.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you all.
Okay. Well, thank you all. We may be calling on some of you again for future programs.
Thank
so
you.
We'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Thank you.